$19,000 each. That's how much money these Drexel entrepreneurs received thanks to the Close Schools Entrepreneurship Co-op. But what is a co-op? Short for cooperative education. The co-op program alternates students' school years into 6 months of classes and 6 months of full-time employment. Students on co-op have the opportunity to work full-time in a professional environment tied to their area of study, with the majority of co-ops being paid experiences. And getting paid is right. Open to all undergrad students at Drexel, the Close Schools Entrepreneurship Co-op provides scholarships of $19,000. That's money that student entrepreneurs can use for their own companies, like
full-service website development,
a soccer documentary YouTube channel.
I cut grass here in Philadelphia. How's it mowing? My name is Sam Vaughan.
I'm Jacalyn Rosa.
My name is Sasha Cole.
I am a fourth-year business student.
I recently graduated from Drexel about a year ago.
And I'm a fourth-year entrepreneurship major, currently in the Entrepreneurship Co-op.
I did the Entrepreneurship Co-op in 2021.
Fall of 2022.
Since I'm just getting started in the Entrepreneurship Co-op, I felt it was only right to speak to the previous co-ops in this episode of the Dragon's Egg podcast.
I live under the rule that I only need 5 minutes to make a decision. 5 minutes, I'll have all the information I need to make my decision, and I make it based off of that information. What's going to change in 15 minutes, you know? Nothing. I got everything I need in 5 minutes. And I'll make my decision and run with it. Keep going.
You're just processing left and right?
Yeah, so I was looking at it, you know, black, bronze, marble. What did I want? Marble was the one. I went with it and I love it.
Hell yeah, our favorite customer.
Love it.
What's the plant in there?
The plant? I don't actually use it for plants.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't. I use it for like miscellaneous items. So I put my keys, wallet,
nice,
car keys, AirPods, chapstick. You know that whole pocket check before you leave the house? That is where I put my pocket items. And then when I'm leaving the house, that's where I get them from.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't really lose anything.
Yeah.
Thanks to OnlyPlants.
OnlyPlants. Did you start that? When was that started?
Yeah, was that a part of your Entrepreneurship Co-op?
No, it was completely separate.
Okay.
That started with just... Well, I can give you kind of the whole spiel. The idea started with kind of feeling insecure about my body. And, you know, when you come to school, being a freshman, you get the freshman 15 and whatever. So Drexel, I was in a 5-year program, had the freshman 15, probably more like a freshman 50. Like, it was bad. I just kept going in and out of the dining hall and whatever. But the idea came from trying to lose that weight throughout these 5 years at Drexel, and then also seeing my friends going through the same struggle with not really balancing their diet correctly and working out. You know, it's really hard to manage everything when you're going to school, going to classes, going to work with co-op. So the idea came from that insecurity and trying to flip it and celebrate all body shape. All body shapes, all body sizes, types, men, women, everything in between. Like, we just try to have as much of a diversity as possible so everybody feels included. This is just the first run right now. The one that you have is part of our first run. And then what we want to do eventually is to have those different body shapes, curvy, skinny, athletic, everything that you can think of. We want to have that on the website.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And so your original Entrepreneurship Co-op company idea that you pitched, which I suppose would have been back in the summer of 2021, you pitched it, right?
I think so.
What was that pitch? Was it SEO?
Yeah, so that was with Blue Ladders.
That was SEO. That was your pitch in 2021. Got it.
Yeah, so it was SEO and website development.
Yes.
And what the kind of the competitive advantage, I guess, of the company is how customer-centric we are. Because I still do it now full-time after graduating. And there's a million website designers out there. There's so many people who are doing the same thing. But what we try to do is operate on these 4 pillars of speed, quality, affordability, and intimacy. And with that, we try to understand the customer as much as possible and really put ourselves in their shoes and think, okay, if I was launching this product, somebody that we've worked with, they do cinnamon buns. And so it's like, okay, if I was running a cinnamon bun company, how would I want to present that out? And then what is it about my company that will bring people in and make people want to do business with me? So we just try to understand the customer as much as possible and then put that online. Basically put the entrepreneur online.
Can't go wrong being customer centric.
Absolutely.
I found that to be true as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was your...
So during the first few weeks of my Entrepreneurship Co-op, which began in September of 2022, right? So it was about 7 months ago. One of the first things I started doing was selling the t-shirts that I sell. How's it mowing? The Sod Father, Live, Love, Lawn, the sweatshirts that say our main slogan, how's it mowing? So when I made a sale, I would go back to the office. I would package it up in my little poly mailer slips, seal it up and slip in there a handwritten personal note. So it said something like, hey, Jackie, thank you for placing an order. And this was handwritten, you know? So sometimes I have 5 orders and I'd be writing 5 handwritten letters. And I knew in the back of my head, like, you know, this will pay off because it's customer centric. I'm thinking about my end user, thinking about my customer. And this shows that I care. And it's more than just, I'm selling you a t-shirt. This is my personal journey. Thank you for joining it. You know, this is basically what I told him in my handwritten letter. So thinking about the customer is brilliant. I love it. You know, Sasha, your videos, you got to be thinking about what the consumer's looking at, right? Like your short film, 18-second clips, you're thinking about what their attention span is. You know, it's the foundation of everything.
Well, you said something interesting there. You started your co-op in September.
Yeah.
Because you're not an entrepreneurship major.
I'm not an entrepreneurship major.
Most entrepreneurship majors are on the spring, summer cycle.
Yeah.
Right? So you were coming in with any other co-ops during that time?
Yeah, this was my final co-op. My entrepreneurship was my final co-op.
Meaning, were there any other people in that class, right? Of the fall, winter?
Fall, winter. There's one other student, Tanner Thompson.
Okay.
And he started in the fall with me. So there was 2 of us in the fall. He was the other person doing the co-op with me in the fall, winter, 2022-23.
Right.
Entrepreneurship. And he's also a business student. We're both finance concentration students in the business school. So it was nice to have Tanner be there with me as well. Yeah.
There were 3 that came in this term, spring, summer, 22-23. 2 entrepreneurship, 1 biomedical engineering. Such interesting, but that was actually 2 business. They opened it up to all majors.
All majors.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All majors. Entrepreneurship U, right?
Yep.
June, biomed.
Yep.
And Janice? Entrepreneurship. There you go.
On the topic of this episode, right? The Entrepreneurship Co-op and the experience. You're given 6 months. You get paid for that time to work full time on an idea.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen in any other co-op throughout the entire school, through the university. It's a crazy time. So on that idea of working full time on an idea, what was that experience like for you guys?
Yeah, full time, right? 6 months worth of time to yourself to do what? Advance your professional career, which to me is no difference than co-op. I go to Crayola, I go to a construction company, I go to a laboratory to work for 6 months and get paid by them on a weekly, bi-weekly base, monthly base to do what? Learn. You know, it's a learning experience. So it is very unique when you say to people, I'm doing 6 months of my own work, my own time through the Entrepreneurship College at Drexel. And they'll tell you, wow, how did you do that? Like, that's so crazy. Like, what is that all about? Well, to me, it was no difference than all my other co-ops. It was an opportunity to learn. And once I kind of looked at it with that lens, it became every day's learning experience that I get to create myself. So I got to learn a lot of different stuff, wide range. So for me, it's experience, trying to see what it would be like as entrepreneurship as a career for myself.
Right.
Which is exciting because one of the great things about Drexel in general is their co-op. So I found that I learned the most from my co-op experience 6 months after the co-op is completed. Once I have that like Monday morning quarterback, look back, now I can see everything I did right, everything I did wrong, and how it fits into where I am now. So I'm most excited for what's going to come because of that co-op experience. You know, like it takes time. A lot of the stuff takes time to like for the work to come to fruition. So I think it will, you know, be around the corner and I'll look back and be like, yeah. So that's how my journey kind of went, you know?
So you mentioned Crayola and the companies that you worked with. I also did the 3 co-op route. And my first one was a small company in Philadelphia. My second one was JP Morgan, so much bigger company. And then I did the Entrepreneurship Co-op. We're on our own. So I had the opportunity to experience a small company, a large company, and then my own company, essentially. And with that, when I first came to Drexel, I thought that I was going to be in the Entrepreneurship Co-op to then do something called Entrepreneurship, which is making a business better from the inside out. And I thought that was what I was going to do. This is the journey. And going in the small company, I was like, this is it. Like, I can really make a difference in this smaller business. And it was okay. The experience, I'm glad I had it. I actually ended up really liking being in the larger company with JP Morgan, which I was really surprised about. I did not think I was going to like a large company, but that gave me an idea that, okay, maybe these bigger companies, that's going to be the route. I'm going to be an entrepreneur in these big companies. And then I had the opportunity to do Blue Ladders, which is the website development company. And with that, I was like, okay, wait a second. Entrepreneurship. Like, this is my calling. This is what I need to do. And so excuse me. So
You're excused. Bless you.
So I learned that there can be so many different routes that you can take with entrepreneurship, whether that's being in a company or doing your own thing. And it's okay to not know, and it's okay to change all the time based on the new experiences that you're taking in, the new things that you're processing. So I just learned what I actually enjoyed was working for myself. And I also experienced a lot of, hardships in a sense of needing to create structure for myself. I didn't really realize how much working in these companies gives you structure and it gives you things to do. It keeps you busy. And it's up to you really to keep yourself busy, keep yourself motivated, be your own hype man most of the time when you're working on your own company. So I learned how to create structure for myself and what that structure actually looks like, because people all work on different schedules. And I thought that I was going to be the 9 to 5 kind of person. And I realized pretty quickly on that I like to sleep in. I love to sleep in past like 2 p.m. probably is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. So then I learned pretty quickly also that people like to do business in the morning and they like to send out their emails. They like to get things done, set right away. So what I learned, or what I started to do, was have all my work done at night at like the 1 a.m. kind of time. That's when I find I'm most productive. And then what I'll do is I'll schedule send emails, because no one's awake at that hour. It's only us working on our businesses. But what I would do would schedule the send to send out like 8 a.m. in the morning, so it could work on somebody else's schedule without having to mess around with my own. So it's kind of that balance that you find working for yourself and working with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, definitely a struggle I had as well. Figuring out time management, finding out when I was most productive. That contrast between when you're working for someone else, you're on their time, so you better show up when you're supposed to show up. And when you're on yourself, you don't have to, there's no repercussions if you don't get there at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. So that was definitely a learning experience, But for me, I think I got to wake up first thing in the morning, I definitely learned that as well. For me, that's how it works for me. I got to force myself to be up early and get going. That's how I become most productive. But I understand that some people are night owls as well. People are night owls. They like to be working at night. And there is something very rewarding about that as well. It's quiet. There's no distractions. And you can be focused on what you're doing later on at night or early in the morning, either one. But yeah, dialing in the zone and getting focused and getting work done is crucial. Doing the work, right?
That contrast between the structured big company environment and a startup, something I never experienced. My first co-op was with the Philadelphia Union, right? But it was kind of a startup branch of the union. So it's the union youth. We were a team of 6-7 people. And I was really not going into office. I was social media. I was going onto fields, recording. I was my own boss. I made my own schedule. The only thing that needed to do deliverables were 2 posts a day. I did that for 6 months. But I never went into the office. This co-op is the first time I'm going into a physical office location. And it's still working for myself.
Yeah.
My second co-op, or my supposed to be second co-op, was again social media content creation for a startup company. That ended up being a part-time gig. So I forgo the co-op and I went school and then the term off. So this is my second and final co-op. I've never experienced working in a big company environment.
Do you feel like you missed out at all? Or do you really like the journey that you've been on?
I love it, but I also think in upcoming, and I would have liked to have one of those experiences working for a big company. The Entrepreneurship Co-op was at the top of my list for this co-op search, but it was going to be either that or a big company, someone like a Vox, a big creative outlet, a journal, a big corporate team, a team that has structure, again, to that point. I didn't experience that, so I'm making my own schedule and it's, coming along. I'm working on it, but I haven't had the grid lines in place that then I can bend to make my own schedule. It's really just working from the ground up in what my day is.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's paying off now for you. The union and the other social media gig that you had,
right?
It's really paying off for you right now in this co-op because you're doing really, really well posting content. And this time it's all about what you want to post. It's not about the Philadelphia Union. It's not about the small business that hired you. It's about your own content that you want to create. And I can't help but think you've been doing an excellent job scheduling your time and creating your own schedule. You've done a great job. It's evident in your work because I see you posting all the time. So you've got to be working consistently, and you are. So that's almost second nature to you at this point, I feel like. So that's very, very good, very good in my opinion. You were built for this co-op, you really were with your prior experience. I didn't know that about you with the union. Maybe you told me at some point. Maybe you didn't, not sure. But regardless, that's one of the things that the Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship, the co-op program they offer to us as students. This is what's so powerful about it. I get to meet you. I get to meet Jackie. I get to meet all these different people while on this co-op that are in this space. And more importantly, I would say an opportunity to be on this campus as a whole. I mean, you've got the business school we talked about, but you also have the chemistry building and the life sciences building and the engineering building. And the faculty and staff in all these buildings are extremely good people to know in a great city, which is Philadelphia. That's something that I'll never forget about my time with the Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship was the opportunity to meet people. My mentors, I'm not sure if you got a mentor yet or not, that's within this school. That was one of the best values that I had as well. I got assigned a mentor who I talked with, an experienced person. I always say that the people make the party. It's not the place. There could be a great bar, tons of drinks, the dining hall is fantastic, filet mignon, they got it all. But if there's terrible people there, the party's going to stink, right? And that's what I think has been the most valuable thing for me as a college student in this school is the people, for sure. The people are going to give you the opportunities that you have in life to collaborate with them, not to use them for some end goal for yourself, but just to collaborate and grow. You can't do much alone. You can't do much alone in this world. You really can't. You can work as hard as you want with your head down, but if you're not with other people and feeding off of people and letting them feed off of you, like any good network has, then your work could go to waste. If you're not working with other people. Something I realized here on this co-op experience for me. People make the party. I can't emphasize it enough.
I love the saying. And first of all, appreciate that, Sam. It really is the people, right? The space, the professors, the mentors.
There's a great quote that reminds me of, kind of cringy, but it's, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's 100% with Drexel, with the co-op, with Biata too. Being in this space, you get to bounce ideas off of other entrepreneurs. And I go between Philly and Delaware. And whenever I go home to Delaware, I'm with my parents and I get to speak to them about business and get their perspective. And then when I come up to Biata, I get to speak with people my own age with different perspectives and different thoughts, different ideals. And it's really cool to see the differences between the generations now versus back then, their view on entrepreneurship too. Like when I tell people that I graduated from Drexel with an entrepreneurship degree, sometimes depending on the age of the person I'm speaking to, it's like, oh, interesting and kind of strange. But then if I'm speaking to somebody younger, usually it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, what are you doing with that? How are you putting it into motion? Something along those lines. And it's really cool to be able to say that I am doing my own business. I have a service-based business and a product-based business, and get to find which avenue there is best or is most fun to do. There's so many different options really with it, but Biata as a whole just makes you or exposes you to so many other entrepreneurs. So if you're doing a service kind of based business and also a service-based business, you can see maybe a way to add a product to it or to even expand those services based on what people say or what you see around.
Yeah, what people say, that generational gap is something I experience as well on co-op, speaking with other people. You know, you mentioned going home, talking with your parents, being here, talking with peers, and the generational difference, something I definitely experienced as well. And what I found I got out of that was respect for history, respect for the people who came before me. You know, they say, they being Henry Ford say, the further a man or woman can look back, the further he'll be able to predict the future. And I think that's so true. Yep. So speaking with my mentor and just like hearing what he has to say, you know, the whole history repeats itself. It does. Like things happen again and again. Fashion fades and then comes back. And so these things happen where they've seen it before. So they can save you 5 years of experience by telling you their story and how they got to where they are when you're speaking with other people about your own journey. But the thing is about that, somebody told me one time, because I was asking him too many questions about, you know, this and that. I'm doing this. Like, what do you think I should do here? Like, I'm a little confused. And then he said, like, he's like, listen to me. You're looking for the answer. Like, I'm not going to give you the answer. No one's going to give you the answer you're looking for. You have the answer. You're the one who is going to answer that, whatever your question is. Like, you know, at a certain point, you can grow out of your mentor. Not that they're useless for you, but you have to understand that a mentor is not there to give you the answers. He's there to guide you along the way, help you, support you, tell you different stories about their experience, but the answer is not within them. And that was something I learned along my journey in the entrepreneurship school. And that's the answers within myself. And I'm not going to get it necessarily from other people. I'm going to get it from my own experiences, my own work, my own effort, my own discipline.
What are some of those answers that you taught yourself, lessons that you learned across your time in this co-op?
Some of those lessons that I learned through my own actions would be that I'm not quite sure, Sasha, to be honest. I'm trying to think of an answer for you right now. It's very intangible. Some of the lessons that I learned, they're pretty intangible, I'd say. Some of these things, they're not necessarily tangible. For me, a big lesson that I learned during my co-op was sales and managing relationships with people in a business sense. And kind of like, again, honing back in on that networking, like managing those type of relationships Like sales was a big thing that I learned, something that I think I'm pretty good at and capable of doing. That's an answer that I think I got to myself through work and through effort, was that I'm capable of selling things and maintaining professional relationships. But we were at that speech yesterday hosted by the Close Club and Dr. John with Jeff Westfall. Sales doesn't need to have a negative connotation. Sales is a good thing. It's human behavior. It's relationships. It's not just about selling the product. It's about solving a problem for somebody.
Jackie, any intangibles?
The thing with structure, that it can look different for everyone, and you just have to find that area or that place where you can fit in with somebody else while also staying true to yourself and what your body actually needs. The power of network, of course, being in Biata, I thought that I could do it all alone and that I didn't need a big team or a large team, maybe like one other person. The more you put yourself into situations that you're uncomfortable with, of course, the more you have to grow. And the more you can also see how other people are growing and then take a piece from them, take a piece from you learning about sales, take a piece from you about learning with your past co-ops and doing your own thing continually, growing your businesses. There's little pieces that you can take from everyone around you. And there's also little pieces that you can give. Like it's a give and a take with those that you surround yourself with. And I think growing to be somebody that you would look up to is really important, to go into co-op with a growth mindset and to seek that discomfort, to seek that change is then going to propel you even that much further in life and in business, really. But yeah.
So something on the idea of structure that I guess was kind of in total mentioned. That's something that I'm building right now. And then the idea of routine. So I'm in it right now, but once you've gone out of it, how has that routine continued, changed your working on your business in the real world or on classes? What's that like?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because people were saying that to me prior to me starting. Hey, make sure you're thinking about what it's going to be like when you're done with this co-op and you're back to full-time classes in my scenario. Or you're back to doing whatever you're doing before you had all this time. And right from the start, my answer to that question was, I have a very long-term horizon. Like I don't expect my work to be started and completed in 6 months. I don't even expect it to be started and completed in 1 year.
6 years.
5 years, 10 years. For me, it's never going to be done. So it started well before the co-op and it's going to continue well after the co-op. And that 6 months was a hyper-focused time for me. But it never started or ended. It's just very fluid. It's always flowing. It's always taking place. So my routine hasn't changed too much, I'd say. It's very much so the same. Just because personally, I have a very long horizon. That's kind of where my answer stops. I don't seclude it to any amount of time. Just always going on.
Speaking about when we were talking about the generations and how they think about our businesses, you mentioned that it's a very long horizon, and something that I've heard from mentors and just my parents to like older people is that you should go in with an exit strategy. But sometimes I don't think that that's necessarily conducive to growth. So do you have an exit strategy? And do you think, if not, that it's something worth thinking about? Or do you just enjoy where you are?
No, I've never thought about an exit strategy. I have thought that when people ask me what I want to do, I tell them I want to own a registered business in the United States of America that produces net profit and provides the best-in-class product or service to its customers. That's my exit strategy, and create something special, That's my exit strategy.
Yeah. What is success to you?
Success to me, it'd be being pretty excited. I like being excited by things, by the future, by... I love being excited. Today, I was excited. I got to put on a tie. I got to come in here. I got to talk to people. I got to do something I don't do every day, right? This is fun to me. I love this type of stuff. So this is what it's all about to me. This is success for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you. I didn't know you a year ago.
Yeah.
I know you now. People make the party. The more people I know, the more opportunities I can have. For me, wealth, success, that to me is opportunities, is options. Having options is successful to me. So having a business, maybe having multiple businesses that give me multiple opportunities to do multiple things all the time. To me, that's success. That's what being wealthy means to me. Having a lot of options. Having options.
It sounds like you seek change a lot.
For sure. Yeah. Change is strategy. Changing your actions is strategy. That is what strategy is all about. That is differentiation, is when you change, when you offer a different product or service in the same industry, in the same business as other companies, but you do something unique. You changed it somehow. You don't even need to give examples. It's evident in every single successful business. They changed the industry by being different. That's all. To me, it's that simple. So that is entrepreneurship in itself, is waking up every single day and being open to change and looking at opportunities everywhere you go. We were just talking about this yesterday, Sasha. Every day for you during your co-op has been, oh, wow, here's an opportunity to create some really good content with a good storyline threaded through the middle to post on social media and to practice my editing skills. Everything is an opportunity for you right now. That's what it's all about. Looking at it. I mean, even like when I'm 80 years old, right? Whatever, there'll be an opportunity there to do something different. And if I don't see it, that's my fault.
So what do you see right now? Change for the next 3 months, 6 months, 5 years?
Next 3 months, 6 months, it's baked in right now today, what I do today. I love the saying, history is present. History is alive. We're always making history. We're making it right now. I'm making my history.
Timestamp it. Right here is a moment in history.
This is a moment in history right now. It's taking place. For me, though, the next few months are going to be an international experience for me. I'm going to Ireland come September 2023. I'll be living in Ireland, in Dublin, for the entire 9 months of 2023, 2024, from September to May. And what is that? It's an opportunity to meet more people and to get a widened viewpoint of the world, which I'm very excited about. An opportunity to think to myself, even in the business world, like, I don't have to do business in the United States. I don't have to do business in the Northeast of the US. I can do business in Ireland, which is the size of Connecticut. I can do business in all of Europe. You can go do these things. You can break into these different areas of the world. I haven't had the experience yet, but this is what I'm expecting it to be like. But I'll say real quick about my trip to Ireland coming up pretty soon. It would probably not have been possible if it wasn't for this school. They gave me time. As we've said, time is the luxury I've been granted through this co-op. Time to focus on opportunities as they arose during my extent with the Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship. I saw an opportunity to travel abroad, and it was an application process. There's a scholarship involved. And because I had the time, I was able to dedicate energy towards it, which is helping me out dramatically in a personal way and will translate professionally as well. So I had the time to, answer those essay prompts, go through the process, do everything I needed to do because I had the time. It's great for my business too. It's really good for my business. Ireland is so green and grassy. I mean, there will be thousands of people to ask, how's it mowing when I'm over there?
Lots of grass, exactly.
Lots of lush green.
I like how you use the government name for the school too every time. It's the what?
It's the Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship. I'm telling you, Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship. You like right behind us, right? And Bayada as well. So these are named after people. Like there are people who did stuff in this area.
What's the Samuel Vaughan School of Entrepreneurship going to look like?
I have no clue. The Sam E. Vaughan, I don't know. I have no clue what that will look like. But I can guarantee you it's going to look different.
Think different.
Absolutely.
Apple.
Absolutely. No doubt.
That's awesome. Yeah. This idea of like, even just being an entrepreneur, right? But it's also being entrepreneurial. You're going to Ireland for 9 months. I'm sure you're doing crazy things, talking to clients, whatever. The world is really, it's not just where you're at home. So many different connections and places you can go to, things you can do. It's a wild lifestyle.
For sure.
Do you have any plans coming up?
Honestly, spring break was like a very interesting moment for me in terms of I hadn't really traveled a lot. And I traveled with roommates. We went to LA, Vegas, and a music festival.
Fun.
And it was like just a week of not thinking about everything, but taking an experience and applying that in different kind of lessons for how I'm living my life and things I can take with. It was a moment of pause before, and I didn't have to think about anything. And then I started the co-op, right? Now I'm on this journey. I have one term at the end of this co-op. And then after that, I'm going to move to New York City.
Oh my God.
This is like, it's the beginning of the end, but it's also like the start of this amazing journey that is going to continue. And I was talking to Zach the other day he's doing a speech, and he's saying, our time at Drexel is coming to a close and our life is beginning to get started, but it's already started. In taking all this experience in college, before college, you're really just moving forwards on this path, whatever that may be, if it's going to Europe for a couple months, studying abroad, things like that. That's the life. And that's what I just love about the school, the people so much.
Absolutely.
What's going to bring you to New York, or what made you choose that city?
I grew up in New Jersey. So going to New York City was kind of, that's the city you travel to, right? Like, Christmas time, things like that. And it's also just the greatest city in the world, inspired by the likes of Casey Neistat, obviously the GOAT. But it just that like the city where anything is possible, melting pot, people of culture, everything, all the ideas. Sure, you have your Austins, your Phillies, LA, but nothing's like New York. Yeah. So it's got to be New York City.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, this is my first time on the podcast doing something like this. You said this is your first time in person in a good bit. Never afraid to fail, coming out here. I don't know what to say. I don't know what camera to even look at here. I don't know how close to have this microphone. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was my camera this whole time. That's great to know you're with me here. But yeah, like ready to fail. Ready, set, fail. That's what it's all about. So I love coming out here, making a fool out of myself, making mistakes, getting very uncomfortable and thinking to myself, man, this is new to me. Like that's something I learned over time on my co-op. I'm eager to fail. I want to fail like 1,000 times, I want to fail 1,000 times. Thomas Edison, the famous inventor of the light bulb, the filament inside that airless tube that made the light bulb, he tested thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of different types of materials. He ended up using bamboo for the most part, I believe. But he had to make errors thousands of times in order to make the best light bulb, at the time. So that's what it's all about. So I love coming to this podcast, making a bunch of mistakes, not knowing what to say, not knowing what it's all about, because that's how I'll just grow, over time. And for you, you're going to New York City. I hope you make a bunch of mistakes.
Thanks. No, I hear what you're saying.
I hope you break a leg, right? That's what they say.
I broke my nose recently.
Wow. Looks great, man.
Thanks.
Oh my God.
It healed up.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Damn. Jason Pfeiffer came to Drexel. He's the editor of Entrepreneur magazine, and he left us with a pretty nice quote that was, I can't wait to do this a second time. And just like this podcast, like being here for the first time in person, it's nerve-wracking, it's scary, it's new, it's change. And I keep reminding myself, like, I can't wait to do this another time, a second time, because first is the worst.
Yeah.
Second is the best.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Videos as well. We posted the first video. I always thought that. I loved posting a video. Like, this is my worst video ever right now, because I'm going to make another video. And it's going to be better. So like I'm always posting my worst video ever. It's always the worst one. And the next one gets better. It's always a bad video. In my mind, it can always get better once I look back on it.
Well, by that logic, each video is your best video.
Yeah, true. That's probably
best of the best.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to say it. Yeah. That is the correct way. Yeah.